Hi guys, it's Debbie, and today I'd like to speak about Wonder Woman, an epic superhero film directed by Patty Jenkins. The character of Wonder Woman belongs to the DC Extended Universe and is portrayed here by Gal Gadot. In this film we follow her from her childhood on the island of Themyscira all the way to her adult experiences in the world as we know it. Wonder Woman, or to better say Diana, grew up with a community of Amazons, powerful women created by the god Zeus in ancient times to help spread peace on Earth and to be guardians of mankind. But mankind was negatively influenced by the evil god of war Ares, which would subconsciously encourage men into committing crimes, having violent behaviours and spreading hate. Luckily Zeus was able to heavily wound Ares and hide all the Amazons on a secret island where they would promote justice and peace while heavily training in combat in the eventuality of Ares's potential return. The Amazons live a completely isolated life from the rest of the world. They don't even acknowledge the fact that a world war is taking place. One day a spy, Steve, accidentally enters the Amazons' territory, followed by German soldiers. After witnessing the horror of war and the violences these soldiers are capable of committing, Diana starts to suspect that Ares might have returned and decides to visit the human world and defeat him. She teams up with Steve and his group of fighters and friends, which also include a Scottish sniper, which is portrayed by Ewan Bremner, which you might have recognised as Spud from Trainspotting. Together they try to foil the evil plans of the German soldiers, which also include concocting a deadly poison to exterminate their enemies. Diana's experience in the modern world as we know it is a life-changing moment for her, because although she is an extremely intelligent woman, after optimistically living for years in a glass cage, believing that every creature is good at heart, she learns the hard truth. She realises that the human nature is capable of willingly committing terrible crimes even without the influence of Ares. I wasn't sure what to expect before seeing Wonder Woman, as the previous films in the DC Extended Universe, in particular Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman, were in my personal opinion just limited to a brief commercial success without conveying anything long-lasting or meaningful, and I'm still quite fearful for the upcoming Justice League. In my opinion, these last films tried so hard to be dark and grim and make an impact on the audience that they forgot to focus on what actually making a good film is. But I absolutely loved Wonder Woman. I found it to be a very clever, profound, meaningful and satisfying film. It was very dark and adult oriented, but at the same time it had just the right amount of comedy its genre can carry. Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman, and for many years she has been known mostly because of her looks, so this important role was quite a big risk. But although her beauty plays an important role in the plot, her physical appearance was never sold like, for example, in Suicide Squad, where the character of Harley Quinn was poorly developed just to leave space to actress Margot Robbie's physical appearance. Finally we return to a depiction of beauty similar to the one of Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises, where beauty represents one of the character's important features, but which doesn't represent the only element the film has to sell. Gal Gadot definitely moved beyond her beauty. She owned her role, she was very charismatic, she was straightforward and convincing in her character, and definitely conveyed some deepness to it. In my opinion, one of the best scenes of the film is the one in which Diana steps out of the trenches and walks directly towards the enemy, risking her own life to bravely save other people she doesn't even know. And she is absolutely beautiful in that scene, proving that beauty doesn't necessarily rule out courage. The actress here really made me look forward to seeing her more on the big screen, even in bigger and more meaningful projects than the Fast and Furious franchise. The historic moment in which the film is set is a hellish nightmare in which we wonder what point mankind is willing to reach in order to create death and pain. And the film didn't portray the war as something distant and unrealistic which can be easily overcome, an error which often occurs in superhero films, in which war and pain always tend to be something very distant from us, something not very frightening, and we just wait to the end of the film to see how the hero will save the day. In this case the war was realistic and frightening. Obviously the creators enhanced certain fantastic features in order to create a more engaging storyline, but in general it developed the topic in a very mature way, including depictions of post-traumatic stress and the life in trenches. Also it includes a very important element, which is the global effect of this war, with fighters and victims from all over the world. The main topics of this film are justice, courage and the boundaries of human behaviour. At first justice is analysed in a down-to-earth manner when Diana enters a society in which women are still not considered considered on the same level as men. She's repeatedly asked to stay in line, to not raise her voice, to not be heard, to cover her body. Then as the film moves on, justice is analysed on a higher level when we're shown the evil actions humans are mindlessly capable of carrying out, and we are asked to judge them and wonder whether it is correct to punish them or not. So although the film is set a century ago and speaks of a fictional character, it's inspiring. The emotions that are depicted are human and relatable, and the topics it covers are touching and modern and can speak to current and future generations. Obviously, as I said before, this is also a fun, entertaining superhero film, so we still have many jokes and funny situations, mostly created because of Diana's limited knowledge of how a human society works. But still, this comedic effect never slips into terrible one-liners and exaggerated sarcasm many recent blockbusters find necessary in order to create a good film. So in my personal opinion, this is one of the best superhero films I have seen lately. It put together deeper topics such as sacrifice, love, friendship, with darker ones such as death and the boundaries of human behaviour, but it still entertained us with the right amount of comedy. By the end of the film, we were crying, laughing, acknowledging that Diana's wisdom and courage was way beyond her years. All the characters were very well built, including Steve, portrayed by Chris Pine. At first he was introduced as Diana's stereotyped male counterpart, but as the film moved on, he was analysed as a heroic and caring figure, which taught us much more than I was expecting about love and justice. All the secondary characters underline the variety of people involved in the war, from evil scientists to innocent people to mercenaries to good at heart but not very skilled fighters. The special effects were absolutely awesome, with no cheap CGI, with no exaggerated scenes. On the contrary, for example, the Amazons' nearly supernatural fighting skills were absolutely fantastic, vividly depicted through detailed slow motions and accurately created. The action scenes were not mindless and meaningless and just used as plot fillers, but on the contrary, every scene had its own meaning. I really hope Wonder Woman is a good sign for the future and that Justice League will be able to convey something similar. Let me know what you thought about Wonder Woman with a comment here below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for many more videos about TV series and films. See you soon, bye!